It's my pleasure to be with my guest, Lord Joel Joffe, CBE, a South African-born lawyer and Labour peer in the House of Lords. It seems a little odd to be calling you my guest since you're actually hosting us in your own home, and thank you very much for that. And I know at the moment you're very caught up with work around assisted dying, but I want to take you back to your childhood and talk about your South African experience. And I wonder if, to begin with, you can paint a picture of what was normal for you as a child growing up in South Africa under an apartheid government.
I grew up as a young person in a white society where I lived in a white area. My friends and colleagues were whites, and the only black people one ever saw or knew of were the servants. And in that environment, one just assumed that that was the norm, and that you were just part of the norm. And so you were never in contact with black people, and you carry on with your own life. And of course, being white was a passport to privilege. And you never actually knew or cared, because you didn't know, about the tremendous injustice of the society in which you were operating. It was extremely difficult to handle the trial, particularly at the outset, because firstly you didn't know who was going to be charged or who your clients really were going to be. The prosecution refused to give any information at all. We knew nothing about what was happening, and our clients were locked up in solitary confinement. So it was a very difficult start to a defence, handling a trial for unknown defendants, being charged with unknown charges, and at risk under the Sabotage Act of being sentenced to death.
In the opening of the defence, Nelson Mandela made a 3-hour speech, and in which I just want to quote a little bit of it. He says, "During my lifetime, I have dedicated my life to this struggle of the African people. I have fought against white domination and I have fought against black domination. I have cherished the ideal of a democratic and free society in which all persons will live together in harmony and with equal opportunities. It is an ideal for which I hope to live for and to see realised. But, my Lord, if it needs be, it is an ideal for which I am prepared to die." What for you was the significance of it?
Well, the speech was the culmination of the strategy for the trial. The government wanted this to be a show trial, showing that there were these troublemakers who, for their own purpose, were trying to unseat this fair and compassionate apartheid government. The defence, the accused strategy was that this would be a show trial in which the whole evil system of apartheid would be put on trial in the court of world opinion. So the purpose of the trial from the Nelson Mandela and his co-accused was to demonstrate to their supporters and to the world the evils of the apartheid system. And they had a rather different view of the trial from the lawyers, who were desperate to save their lives. And they insisted and instructed us, and we had to follow their instructions, that their lives were of secondary importance. What was most important was to inspire others to carry on the fight for freedom and democracy in South Africa.
We've talked a bit about the sort of the world opinion aspect of it, but for yourself at a personal level, what was the impact, and perhaps professionally as well, what was the impact of being part of the defence team for the trial?
Well, it was a privilege to defend these people, so I was very grateful to be allowed to take part in the defence. And in the course of that 9-month trial, I began to understand quite how bad the system of apartheid was. I was educated by the accused, and so I finished the trial a lot better educated than I began.